welcome. I am Kristen, and I'm with Myth Refreshed, a show that embodies performance, music, art, all kinds of beautiful things. And here we are interviewing some of the artists that are going to bless our stages. Today we have the performance piece Devilfish, which is a new piece. And I'm going to pass it over to you guys to introduce yourselves and your piece.
Okay, should I start? My name is Ellye, and I'm the creative director of Devilfish. So it was based on some research I did on the octopus and Maddie.
Hi, I'm Maddie, and I'm a dancer from Australia. So Ellye sort of came to me with the idea that she had, and she said that she really envisioned movement and movement of the body specifically as a really good addition to the ideas that she had musically and thematically. So yeah, we got into it.
This is amazing. Okay, so you said research around the octopus. Tell me more.
Okay, so I was doing some research on specifically mythical creatures during I honed in on the 19th century in Britain, because at that time there was so many different things happening, so much kind of in limbo and question. So you have colonialism, you have industrialization, new science questions. So I was looking at how myths were taken and harnessed for political or social narratives. And the octopus, although it's not a mythical creature in that way, the way that they treated it and spun stories around it at the time, they mythologized it as the devilfish, which is why it's called the devilfish, and as this terrifying, vicious, strange, blood-sucking monster that they created.
That's heartbreaking because I love an octopus.
I know.
They're so beautiful.
You'll do.
Yeah, right?
Mm.
Okay, so you were interested in this like mythology and you approached Maddie. Did that kind of speak to you and the way that you tend to move your body?
Yeah, actually, it did a lot. I really enjoy super articulate movement, and the octopus is the king of articulation, I think, and body control and isolation and things like that. So, and I find those textures really interesting to work with, as well as like tension versus a real release, which again, I think the octopus has really nice control of tension and control of its body, and a really hypnotic way of moving, which again, visually creating shapes that are really mind-boggling is interesting to me as a dancer. So it was, yeah, spoke to me big time.
I mean, yeah, their bodies can be and are kind of everywhere, pushing and pulling with the water. So I can imagine that gives you a lot of like room to play.
Yeah, it's been a really, really fun journey, and we're also working with two other dancers, Antonia and Maeve, as well. And that's been a really great experience of like working with them and collaborating as well.
Amazing. And I know you guys are also working with Stephane, who is the soundscape designer. And I think it's really interesting to have a soundscape rather than, like a piece of music. Can you tell me more about that?
Well, it's been quite an interesting process, because the soundscape has developed as and with the music. So they've responded to each other, which has been quite fun and interesting to work with, definitely. With the soundscape, what we did is take words from texts or newspaper clippings describing the devilfish and all of these terrible things that it did. So we worked with the language, and basically went from there.
I love that, in incorporating language and those sounds into movement and into this mythology, and how people viewed the octopus then, and kind of. So, what's your kind of modern interpretation?
Do you want to go for it?
modern interpretation of the sounds or the myth itself?
The myth itself. So how are you bringing that kind of devilfish to a modern stage, and what's your kind of point of view on it? To hit that microphone close.
Good to know. I don't mind.
I would say like the modern stage, I think we're mainly focusing on how the audience will interpret the work. So, and kind of how many bits of the myth we give away at what points in the journey.
Cool.
So we're kind of playing with an idea that's kind of narrative enough so that the audience doesn't feel alienated by like abstract movement without concept.
Oh, give me that abstract.
Yes, we love abstract. And as a dancer, like I love going to see an abstract work that's completely like I have to make my mind up, but then we have to consider the other end of the spectrum.
Definitely.
Like my mom was always like, I love a blurb. I love to read a blurb so that I know what's going to happen, and then I don't interpret the wrong thing. And I try and explain, Mom, it's not about that, but sort of finding that in between point so that like artistic people who like an abstract kind of take on things get to guess and get to interpret, and people who are newer to viewing movement in an abstract way can kind of pick up on parts of the track and relate the movement to the sound. So in terms of approaching that kind of broad audience and kind of making sure that everybody can get something out of it, I think is the main approach.
That's great, isn't it? Like making myth accessible, which is oftentimes the point of myth, is making philosophy, art, science accessible, isn't it? Yeah. That's beautiful. So, Ellye, local, you're from London, you studied at the Royal College of Arts. Maddie, you're from Brisbane, and I know Stephane's in Mexico. So how did you guys all meet? And how did you guys come together?
So I've worked on a few projects with Stefan before, mostly sea related. We seem to come together with the sea.
Okay.
And then Maddie, this is our first project, isn't it? Very exciting.
Amazing. Okay. So tell me about what we can expect to experience on the night.
Ooh, I don't know how much we want to give away.
Oh, I love it. Give us that surprise, that mystery.
Yeah, some surprise. Yeah, let's keep it on the mysterious side.
On the mysterious side. Yeah.
I mean, devilfish sounds quite mysterious already.
Maybe slightly unsettling.
Yeah, a little bit on the unsettling side, and some nice, but also like a bit of a I would say a roller coaster, maybe. A little bit of a roller coaster.
Taking us on a ride.
Yeah.
I love it.
I
love it.
Yeah.
Okay, a journey.
Yeah. A journey, yes.
Take us on a journey. Okay, and tell me, what can we see? Like, how can we see more of your work? Where can we find you in the world? What are you doing? Plug it.
Well, I guess we're hoping to maybe do future developments and iterations of the work. So having this as like a platform for a first development is a really great opportunity. So thank you for that. Because often when you make when you work on a first development, you've then got to somehow get feedback and pitch for further funding and like all of the boring stuff. But it's really nice that we've got this like performance opportunity, and we can get feedback from the other artists and sort of take it from there, and maybe do some other fun things in the future with it.
So much future. Cool. Okay, well, we cannot wait. Any last words?
Buy your tickets.
Buy your tickets.
Buy your tickets.
Thanks, Maddie. Buy your tickets. March 18th, Myth Refreshed. It's going to be a night like that's going to just get the soul moving and also get the body moving. So join us. There'll be lots of fun things to feel.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you guys so much for being a part of this. Thank you. Cannot wait.
Thank you so much for joining us at the Myth Refreshed podcast. It has only been made possible through the sponsorship and kindness of AB Recording Studios in Tooting. Please check them out if you have any podcast or video casting needs. They are amazing. We look forward to seeing you on March the 18th at the Omnibus Theatre in Clapham. Tickets are available now. Thank you, Myth Refreshed family. You are amazing.